season as well, so it's not like they've got easy fixtures. But I understand that it's pretty open for Tottenham. If they can put a run together here, you know, you'd kind of make them favourites.
It's in Spurs' hands.
Yeah.
It's in Tottenham's hands. But no, if they finish behind Aston Villa on goal difference, I'm not going to say, oh, he needs to leave the club. I don't think any Spurs support would say that.
That's strong. So strong that the phones have started ringing. 03717 2233 444. We'll keep the conversation going on Tottenham next. You're listening to Kick-Off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Kick-Off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Imagine owning a holiday home right on the coast. A bolt hole for you whenever you need it most. At Haven, we can make that dream real with brand new holiday homes on amazing deals. From just $34,995, the keys could be yours to your very own place, just yards from the shores. And that's not all. Buy now and there's more, like no site fees to pay for 2024. Can't wait to get started? To plan all your trips? Then visit haven.com/ownership. Offers are separate, T's and C's apply.
Hey, we sell amazing products and services the whole world wants.
At Hawkshead Relish in Cumbria, demand is booming for our pickles and preserves in Canada and Australia.
And at Luminance from Cambridge, our AI software is saving lawyers time in over 60 countries and 80 languages.
So whether you're new to exporting or experienced, explore global growth for your business with free support from the UK government. Access information, training, events and expert advice to help you find new customers overseas. Visit great.gov.uk to get started.
Here they are, the racing lovers of the UK, phone in hand, ready to play the Coral Reward Shaker. Look at them shake. We've got the regulars of the racecourse shaking their phone with confidence. And look, they've won a free bet. Parents on a day out just happy to be here. They've got it too. An odds booster for them. Lovely stuff. Everyone's a winner. Play Coral's free reward shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
18+ UK. Max one reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions, requirements and T's and C's apply. Take time to think.
Mike Brewer here. Forget the chocolate eggs and tell the big fluffy bunny to whop it. For a real Easter extravaganza, get to mymotorworld.com. Save up to 20% off service parts, including filters, engine oils, lubricants, wiper blade, bulbs, and more. With discounts on thousands of products, put all your service kits in one basket. Then check out and save at mymotorworld.com. mymotorworld.com.
With car insurance from LV, I know I'll have peace of mind because their payouts are 99% of claims. Nice one. And if I'm hit by an uninsured driver, I won't lose my no-claim discount because insurance is simple when it's me and LV.
No wonder we're rated excellent on Trustpilot. Get your quote today at lv.com. 99% of direct motor claims paid February 2023 to January 2024. Uninsured driver promise is non-fault accident only. Other vehicle and driver details required.
Welcome to Play to Red Online Casino! Incredible! Play over 500 games, including exclusive slots, the Cube, Tipping Point, and I'm a Celebrity Get Me Out here! Join Play to Red and get a bang tiny welcome bonus up to 150 quid. 150 quid? That's incredible! Visit playtored.com to claim. 18+ BeGambleAware.org. New accounts only. Minimum £10 deposit. Up to 50 times wagering. Max nets apply. Visit playtored.com for full terms.
Friday night.
Live Championship football on TalkSport 2.
Oh, that's magnificent!
More games than ever.
Watford versus Leeds.
Coverage from 7:30. Kick-off 8 p.m.
That is brilliant!
Friday night on TalkSport 2.
That's a sensational goal!
Night goals coming on TalkSport 2.
You're listening to Kick-Off here on TalkSport. Hugh Woozencroft alongside Darren Ambrose, the former Ipswich and Charlton winger, is here just to bring you a bit of breaking news on TalkSport. It concerns Leicester City's women. Leicester City Football Club can confirm that Willie Kirk has been dismissed from his position as the LCFC women's manager following an extensive internal disciplinary process and respecting the club's obligations to individual privacy. Willie was determined to have breached the team's code of conduct to a degree that makes his position untenable. Established and implemented ahead of the start of the current season, the code forms part of the club's ongoing commitment to professionalising the women's game since the takeover of Leicester's women in 2020, promoting a performance-led culture among players, coaches and technical staff, first-team responsibilities, will continue to be led by Jennifer Foster, supported by Stephen Kirby, while the club begins the process of a new permanent manager. We will discuss that in more detail when Uma Gurav joins us to discuss everything going on in women's football from 1:45 at the end of this hour. Before then, let's continue our discussion about Spurs. Let's go to Dave, shall we? Dave is a Spurs fan. It's been we've had opinions on both sides of the fence. Maybe one's a minority opinion. We heard
one
ago. So let's find out where Dave sits. Good evening, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hello, lads. Sorry, I had to phone in after that lunatic.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought it was just me, Dave.
No, he ain't taking his tablets tonight, obviously. Something's gone wrong there. But just to say that, do you know what? We had a lot of pain. We had two managers. We had Conte and Mourinho playing anti-football. So Mourinho was just dire, horrible football. You know, and then we had Conte that didn't let us start playing until the 80th minute when we were 1 or 2-0 down. And now we've got a manager that's attacking football, exciting football. It's the best football I've seen, and I love Poch, but this is the best football I've seen since we had Harry Redknapp there. It's wonderful to go back into the stadium and cheer our team on. I don't care whether they finish 4th, 10th or 15th. As long as we get into football, we're paying to watch. You know?
So you're not in James's camp that if they finish below Villa, Ange Postecoglou has to leave the club? Even saying that out loud, I mean, come on.
It's just mental. We've got the best stadium in the world, and now we've got the money that we can actually afford to buy people like the Golden Boys, like we've got Madison. It's just like, all we're missing, Sonny needs somebody up the front to help him out. But we're not far away. But what we're doing is playing football.
Dave, thank you very much for your call. We're trying to get through all of them. Dave enjoying himself at the moment. Appreciate you giving us a call, Dave. Let's go to James, Spurs fan. Another James. Good evening.
Good evening, lads. How are you doing?
Very well. You happy?
Are you the sensible James, or?
First and foremost, this ain't the James from before. I'm someone who's got my head screwed on. I don't know what that last James was on about, as the previous caller Dave just said. What more does anybody expect of that man of what he's done already this season? I don't get it, all right? We've been from attacking brand of style under Pochettino, making Champions League final. They got rid of him. We've had the worst few years with Mourinho and Conte that I've seen. The most boring style of football. These guys come in, I'll be honest, I'm very sceptical as well at first. Do you know what I mean? You've not really heard too much about him coming from Celtic. Look at what he's done in the first year. Look at that run we went on at the start. Now, obviously, everyone has injuries. But look at them injuries there to key players at the very beginning after that Chelsea game with the red cards. And that's when he went down that hill for us a bit, okay? Look at what he's done there. Look at the players he's already brought in. Look at Van der Ven. Look at the 80 jockeys camp. If you look at them teams above us right now, Liverpool, look at the brand of football they play and how strong they are and how many more points they already have than last season. Same as Man City, same as Arsenal. Arsenal stuck with their manager now for a number of years. Now, it wasn't that long ago, I remember everyone wanting Arteta out, all the old Arsenal fans. And look at what he's doing now. So if you look at that, look at what he's done with Aston Villa. They've got some fantastic players. Absolutely fantastic in the brand of football and what he does. And he's a consistent European winner as well as European Cup winner. If you look at those quality of those teams that are above us, what more does anyone expect from a manager in his first year that's gone from bearing in mind, lost the top goal scorer as well. They gives him 20 plus goals a season. You've lost him and not replaced him. You've brought in a high pressure, really different attacking style of play compared to the lads being used to being all defensive under the other managers. What do they expect?
Appreciate your call, James. Great call this evening. Let's get one more Spurs fan in if we can. Phil, listen, let's go back to that original question. Good evening to you. Is it a failure of a season if you don't make the Champions League? How do you view it?
No, definitely not. I think it's been an outstanding season. We mustn't forget Postecoglou has only been there for 8 months. Every manager with the team above us, obviously particularly Man City, Klopp at Liverpool, have been at their clubs for years on end, about 7 years or whatever. Yes. The guy at Arsenal has been there. Emery obviously at Villa has been there for a couple of years now, and obviously Arteta has been supported for 4 years. To produce what he has done in 8 months, I genuinely believe if we hadn't had the injury crisis we did have, which started at the Chelsea match, then I'm confident we would comfortably be in the top 4 now. So the guy who was on before, the James guy, he must have been an Arsenal fan, or he was on some tablets, as the other James said. Crazy to think that if we don't get top 4, we should get rid of Postecoglou. Absolutely crazy. I think the guy is doing an outstanding job. World-class manager, now getting a chance with one of the big clubs. I think we should be applauding him and supporting him in the next 2 or 3 transfer windows, when I really think it can be actually challenging for all the top honours.
Yeah, brilliant, Phil. Thank you very much for your call on TalkSport this evening. And that's a good point to end on, challenging for big honours. Do you see that coming for Tottenham soon?
Of course, under Ange Postecoglou I do. And I'm not just saying that being a Spurs supporter. When Jose Mourinho was there, I felt there was a chance, crazy, to get rid of him before a cup final. When Antonio Conte came in, I was a little bit sceptical in terms of that. World-class manager, but just couldn't produce in that team, just didn't fit. Ange Postecoglou, what he's shown is he's done a remarkable job. Yes, the pressures will arise next season, the season after, once he's got a couple more transfer windows under his belt, more of his players. But he looks like he's ready for that. Great job at Celtic. Looks like he's ready for a chance at a top club that are crying out for a trophy. And as a Spurs supporter, I'm very confident that he can bring one to us.
Intrigued to see how the summer goes for Tottenham, because they are still one of those clubs who I think needs to sell quite a few of that squad, and there are players who are out of favour, other clubs will want, but if they can get them out and get some decent money for them, and then reinvest that in the squad, we could see a
reinvest. That's the word.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to reinvest.
But we know they're still paying for the stadium, maybe not the funds that other big clubs at the top of the table currently have. So, like I say, really intrigued to see what business Spurs do in the summer. That's whether they make the Champions League or not. Although I do think getting to the top 4 really helps with buying just maybe 1 or 2 extra players to help Ange Postecoglou on his way. But anyway, we're going to talk about Manchester United next, and a young starlet in the shape of Kobbie Mainoo. United fans, is this going to be the right club for him in the long term? Give us a call, 03717 22 33 44.
Kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Be gamble.org.
Imagine owning a holiday home right on the coast. A bolt hole for you whenever you need it most. At Haven, we can make that dream real with brand new holiday homes on amazing deals. From just $34,995, the keys could be yours to your very own place, just yards from the shores. And that's not all. Buy now and there's more, like no site fees to pay for 2024. Can't wait to get started? To plan all your trips? Then visit haven.com/ownership. Offers are separate, T's and C's apply.
Racing lovers of the UK, phone in hand, ready to play the Coral Rewards Shaker. Look at them shake. We've got the regulars at the racecourse shaking their phone with confidence. And look, they've won an odds booster. Wannabe tipsters opting for a shake technique they heard through their barber's cousin's mate. Must have worked. They've won a free bet. Play Coral's free Rewards Shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
18 plus UK. Max 1 reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions, requirements and T's and C's apply. Take time to think.
At Wix, get Dulux Standard 2.5 litre coloured emulsion was £21, now 15. Be house proud with Wix. Ends Wednesday. Terms apply.
Podpoint was founded in 2009. And they've worked with Barclays at every stage of their journey. With our business funding support, they've gone from startup to operating one of the largest networks of electric vehicle charging points in the UK. We even helped coordinate and sponsor their IPO. You have arrived at the London Stock Exchange. Grow your business. Bank on Barclays. Search Barclays Business Banking.
Here in the UK, we sell amazing products and services the whole world wants.
But Hawkshead Relish in Cumbria, demand is booming for our pickles and preserves in Canada and Australia.
And at Luminance from Cambridge, our AI software is saving lawyers time in over 60 countries and 80 languages.
So whether you're new to exporting or experienced, explore global growth for your business with free support from the UK government. Access information, training, events and expert advice to help you find new customers overseas. Visit grey.gov.uk to get started.
Let's join Barry live for the build-up to this monumental match. What's your prediction?
You know, I've been watching this team for a very long time, Steve, and I can tell you now, score will be 3-1, there'll be over 9 corners, and the Frenchman will score a header.
Very specific, Barry.
It's Bet Builder from LifeScore Bet, mate. You can combine markets from thousands of options to create your own bet, or if you can't make up your mind, you can choose from the pre-built quick bet options.
Which is exactly what you did, isn't it?
Bet Builder from LifeScore Bet. Building a bet just got easier. Full account terms apply. Bet responsibly. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Early breakfast, weekday mornings from 5 on Talk Sport with Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual. From the goal line to the golf course, the canvas to the crease. We've got all the biggest sports stories covered. Wake up to expert debate, analysis and opinion that's guaranteed to set you up for the day. Early breakfast, weekday mornings from 5 on Talk Sport with Adrian Flux. Get a tailor-made quote for your commercial vehicle. Search Adrian Flux. Insurance for the individual.
Reasons to like TalkSport. 1, 2, 3. Football, golf and cricket, your season ticket. A punt on a whipping on goals. A bit of Super Alley to dance at Alley Pally. The next Alley Valley and Cranberry Bowls. Heavy on the depot, the old from Life from Glasgow. Leather on the winner, plus Mary Groves. Premier League footballers, runners, riders, ballers. Lots of angry callers and
Don't be a blockhead. Listen to TalkSport on DAB Digital Radio 1089 and 10:53 AM on the app and on your smart speaker.
TalkSport.
And there it is, 20 league titles, and Manchester United have done the business.
Gallagher can bring it forward. Then with the edge of the Newport penalty area, a couple of step overs, he's made good ground. Mainu into the bottom left-hand corner.
Welcome to the United Front. Yes, it's the United Front each and every Thursday night on TalkSport. Usually, of course, my good friend Leanne Sanderson is here, also a Manchester United fan. But don't worry, Darren Ambrose.
Your not so good friend is here.
We're not going to I'm just going to say, just because you don't support Man United doesn't mean we're going to deviate from talking about the greatest club in the country, especially as we've unearthed what?
Hold on. Hold on, that just went past my head. What did you say?
You support Tottenham, get out of it. We've just unearthed another worldie. Yes, the Manchester United Academy, you can say what you want about our football club, but wow, gem after gem. We continue to do it generation after generation. And we have, he's 18 years old, Kobbie Mainoo, unbelievable for England, player of the match in his first England start. He's been a revelation. He will be playing for Manchester United away at Brentford, live on TalkSport. It's an 8 PM kickoff on Saturday night, remember that. And listen, Man United need to put a good run together here if they're going to put any pressure on the top four. As I said, there's a little bit of a gap between them and Spurs. If Spurs win their game in hand, it's a very big gap, 9 points to both Villa and Tottenham, if Tottenham can win that game in hand. But, you know, at this point in time, they just need to take care of their own business, which is winning football matches, and he is in fantastic form. Little bit of reports around Kobbie Mainoo's contract situation. He actually is already under contract until the end of the 2028 campaign, so there's no real pressure for Manchester United to give him a new deal, albeit reportedly in the Manchester Evening News they are saying that talks have already got underway. United of course keen to tie him down to a long-term deal, but it's an interesting question around whether Manchester United are still the club that can turn players into that top draw, world-class, elite talent. Because when you think about who's actually improved at Manchester United over the last kind of 5 or 6 years, you're talking about very few players. Most players that have come to the club have not excelled. And even the ones that have been there for a while, and you think mainly predominantly about Marcus Rashford and the amount of criticism that he's had about his game not developing. Maybe there's reasons for that, and change in managers, maybe that's going to stop. Maybe the investment in the squad's going to be very different. The recruitment might improve under Ineos and City and Ratcliffe. But at this point in time, if you're Kobbie Mainoo, you're sitting down for those contract talks, Darren, what would you be saying to your agent?
I mean, it's so tough because he's such a young lad, and we don't know what his head's like in terms of, does he know what he wants? He's a Manchester United fan, am I right?
Of course.
Yes, so he's a Manchester United fan. So that changes things a little bit if you support the football club. But I think if he isn't tied down to a contract and he goes to the Euros with England and he starts, I think Manchester United could be in trouble. I honestly don't think he could be there next season.
Next season?
Yeah, I think because this generational talent that you're saying that he is, and he might well be. He's not played many games to be classed as that just yet. He's clearly a very, very talented player, and he's gone through the stages very, very quickly. So he's clearly confident as well. And as you said, Manchester United are not renowned recently for improving players. If you look at the Marcus Rashford situation, 5, 6, 7 years ago, he was one of the best players in the Premier League. Am I right? He's won, one FA Cup, 2 League Cups, Europa League. He should have won more. He's decided to stay at Manchester United, of course, and he's earned a lot of money by doing that. The only way I see Kobbie Mainoo signing a new contract is if it's for a lot of money, with a low get-out clause. I'm talking 60, 70 million. That in today's day and age, it's blasé to just say that's a low amount of money. But in football terms, that's a low amount of money. And maybe something along the lines of, if he starts for England in the Euros, it's a double your money straight away. A lot of it for agents, and if he's got the right advisors, I think he'll stay. I do, and learn his trade a little bit more, which is crazy to say. You learn your trade at a club like Manchester United, but if his agent is solely about finances, then you could potentially see him leave.
It's not about finances for me, and I'm saying this as a Manchester United fan. You know, if you're Kobbie Mainoo, and you'll think back to the times that Wayne Rooney, you know, people would criticise him because he said he wanted to leave the football club, but actually, when he explained it, he was going into the hierarchy at the football club and he was saying, we need to buy better players. We need to keep ourselves at the top of world football. And if you're not going to be at the top of world football, I'm Wayne Rooney, I need to be at the top of world football. And people can talk, you know, we can have conjecture over whether Rooney was right to say that or not. But I think Kobbie Mainoo might be in a position where it's not that he wants to leave the football club, it's that he wants to see Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Ineos, all the new faces in terms of the football department at the club, and making the right decision. So hopefully he's thinking like, and he would have gone to that England camp, he would have started in the midfield with Bellingham and Rice, and he would have thought, wow, this is the level. If I can get, and it's no disrespect to the players at Manchester United in the midfield right now, because there's players that have achieved brilliant things, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, it's not like he's playing alongside poor players. Yeah. But he will feel, look, I'll get 100, 150 games under my belt just as a professional, I need to do that. So he for sure, I think, will stay at Man United for at least the next couple of years, build himself up, get to 20, 21 years old, but he will want to see that he's not in a situation like Chelsea are in, right? Todd Boehly comes in, he's promising the world, he's signing players left, right and centre, but the approach to recruitment clearly doesn't work and the club is not improving. If Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, Sir Dave Brailsford, they can do things right, they can improve the squad and the club is moving in the right direction, then I feel he can improve. Whether it's Erik ten Hag, whether it's another manager, Manchester United will be the club for him. If all of that recruitment, all of the new plans are still poor, still signing bad players, still not really playing a game that is a fluent attacking style, still not controlling football matches in the way that a player like Kobbie Mainoo would want to be in a side that controls football matches, then in a couple of years, even though he loves Manchester United, I'm sure his camp will be feeling like, is this the right club for us? Those are big ifs, massive ifs. You know, every Manchester United fan is hopeful that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos are going to save the club and they are going to be back challenging for the biggest trophies. But the players, they don't know that. They want to see this work really done to a high standard. Yeah. And if that does happen, he's going to be there for a long time. Like I say, if it doesn't, look, he won't want to be in a Declan Rice situation where he probably stayed at West Ham United too long because of his contract. There wasn't really an easy get-out for him. And the same for Harry Kane at Spurs, who probably stayed too long because there wasn't an easy get-out for him. And so I agree with you. If there's a decent release clause in there, low fee, it might be caveats. It might be if we're not in the Champions League, or if we finish outside of Europe, then my release clause is a certain amount, then fair enough. But he definitely has to have those get-outs in there, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I think recruitment is key, as you said, and what Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Ineos Group come in and do is vital. Now, I think you build your team around Kobbie Mainoo and Garnacho, the young players, the young, exciting players that would have got into most eras of Manchester United. These players, Højlund, you need to build your team around these. because there's certain examples you can look at. Jude Bellingham, I know he's at Birmingham, I get that, and he learnt his trade when he learnt his trade at Dortmund. Now look where he is, one of the best players in world football. You can look at the Wayne Rooney situation that you said, and look, Wayne Rooney had an unbelievable career, but there was talks that he was on par, if not better, than Cristiano Ronaldo when they were both at Manchester United. Ronaldo decided to leave. It's in different scenarios. He went on to be what he is now, one of the best players of all time. And Wayne Rooney is not spoken in that ilk compared to those two players. We don't know if Wayne Rooney decided to go to Real Madrid, Barcelona in that era, whether he would have excelled as well, even more than he did. So there's certain examples you can look at, but if I'm Sir Jim Ratcliffe coming in, I'm building my team around these young players, and I'm trying to, we know what it's like back in the day when all the young players was at Manchester United. I'm trying again, and a new generation of unbelievable talent, starting with him, and it's still so early days for him that just the joy of playing for your boyhood club gets that adrenaline going as well. Like you said, he needs 100, 150 games. I just fear that if the recruitment's wrong again, then he could be looking to get out.
Yeah, okay, all right, Manchester United fans, if you've got a view, give us a call, we'll discuss it. Drop us a message on 81089. Just to let you know, just approaching half-time, PSG 1-0 up on Hacken in the second leg of the Women's Champions League quarter-finals. PSG now 3-1 up on aggregate. You'll remember a little bit earlier on, Barcelona booked their place. They will face Chelsea in the semi-finals. We'll be back talking women's football straight after this on TalkSport.
Kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Be gamble aware to walk.
Imagine owning a holiday home right on the coast. A bolt hole for you whenever you need it most. At Haven, we can make that dream real with brand new holiday homes on amazing deals. From just $34,995, the keys could be yours to your very own place, just yards from the shores. And that's not all. Buy now and there's more, like no site fees to pay for 2024. Can't wait to get started? To plan all your trips? Then visit haven.com/ownership. Offers are separate, T's and C's apply.
BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. That's why they got me, Chris Rock, to tell you about BetMGM's golden offers. Sign up to BetMGM, bet 10 pounds, and get 40 pounds in free bets. We're making every game an occasion. Get ready for the golden era in sports betting. BetMGM. It's showtime.
New customers only. Wagering requirements and apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Here in the UK, we sell amazing products and services the whole world wants.
At Hawkshead Relish in Cumbria, demand is booming for our pickles and preserves in Canada and Australia.
And at Luminance from Cambridge, our AI software is saving lawyers time in over 60 countries and 80 languages.
So whether you're new to exporting or experienced, explore global growth for your business with free support from the UK government. Access information, training, events and expert advice to help you find new customers overseas. Visit great.gov.uk to get started.
Here they are, the racing lovers of the UK, phone in hand, ready to play the Coral Reward Shaker. Look at them shake. We've got the regulars at the racecourse shaking their phone with confidence. And look, they've won a free bet. Parents on a day out just happy to be here. They've got it too. An odds booster for them. Lovely stuff. Everyone's a winner. Play Coral's free reward shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
18 plus UK. Max one reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions, requirements and T's and C's apply. Take time to think.
Hawksby and Jacobs on TalkSport with Toolstation. Unfiltered football debate done right.
Vatican City football team, Pep Swiss Guardiola.
Big hitting cricket comment done right.
Ricky Ponting. Pretty few you can't eat cricket.
Knockout boxing opinion done right.
That was a classic, legendary.
Entertaining afternoon radio done right.
Some would say it's absolutely.
Hawksby and Jacobs weekday afternoons from 1 on TalkSport with Toolstation for a job done right.
Straightforward, straight talking, and straight to the point.
You will not see a better goal.
Kick off with Hugh Wheaton-Croft on TalkSport.
James takes it in a stride and finds the corner again. What a brilliant goal from Lauren James.
Being in the running for 4 trophies, yeah, we're going to want to win it all, but ultimately that would be the best way to send off Emma.
Driving forward,
Onto Marnham, deflected shot, into the back of the net. Frida Marnham immediately gets Arsenal level.
Obviously it's special. We were there last year and we won the County Cup final as well, which was an amazing game for us, and obviously winning against Chelsea is always nice. I think we all feel that hungry in our team that we want to put things right together after that game, and just go and smash Chelsea.
Big game coming up this weekend between Arsenal and Chelsea, a London derby in the Black Country. Molineux hosting Arsenal against Chelsea in the Conti League Cup final. We're going to have it live for you on TalkSport 2 Sunday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Faye Carruthers, Joe Shannon and the former Liverpool women's striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk will be with you for it. And we've got a lot to talk about in women's football. Delighted to say our reporter Uma Gurav joins us in the studio. Before we get to looking to that game, let's very quickly deal with the breaking news this evening concerning Leicester City and their manager Willie Kirk, who has now been dismissed. Tell us more.
Yes, so it's been confirmed by the club that Leicester City have sacked their women's manager. What they've said is that he breached, this is from their official statement, he breached the team's code of conduct to a degree that makes his position untenable. We knew beforehand that he was under investigation for an alleged relationship with a player, and this comes off the back of that. Assistant coach Jennifer Foster has been taking charge of most of their matches for the last couple of weeks. So I don't think you'd say that this is a surprise. It follows the sacking of former Sheffield United manager Jonathan Morgan earlier this year for a similar issue. And this question about the power dynamics that are raised between player-coach relationships have been discussed quite widely. Obviously, it's something that we saw with the Lionesses. Former England manager Mark Sampson was sacked in 2017 for what the FA called at the time inappropriate and unacceptable behaviour, and we believe that related to a similar issue. And most of the WSL managers have since come out and spoken about it. Emma Hayes and Carla Ward have been particularly vocal about it. And then on a couple of days ago, our reporter Bradley Hayden spoke to Serena Wiegman, England coach, at St George's Park, and this is what she had to say about the issue of player-coach relationships.
Don't think we've got that audio right now, Uma, so we'll try and come back to it. Let's get into the Conti Cup, shall we then? Chelsea, they had a game in the Champions League, of course. We do have the audio, is that right? Let's try and hear it then.
Player-coach relations are very inappropriate. I think we should not accept that, and that's not healthy. That's basically what it is. I think in our environment, it's a professional environment. It's all about performing, and it should always be safe.
And I think most coaches would agree with that in the game as well. Something that has been a bit of an issue, as you mentioned, but clearly, clubs taking action on it. And I guess as long as it is enforced, and we can try and get it out of the game, and coaches will behave more appropriately, it should be something that is put to bed very, very soon, hopefully, in the game. Again, let's look ahead to the Conti Cup then. Chelsea played in the Champions League in midweek. They've got a big rivalry with Arsenal, as we know. Jonas Eidevall may be under a little bit of pressure coming towards the end of the season. Certainly, fans expecting him to win something, maybe just about every year with Arsenal. Chelsea seem to rule the roost at the moment in that regard. They were a very difficult team to stop. It's a repeat of last year's final as well. So how do you see it going?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this. When I was at the match last year, and it was great. Chelsea were ahead within the first kind of couple of minutes, and suddenly the game turned on its head. So I think we're expecting a similar level of drama in the game. Obviously, first trophy of the season, it's a big one. And I think you would say that although Chelsea are the favourites on paper heading into this game, as you said, they've been so dominant, and it's hard for anyone really to break that dominance they've got over the game. There's actually an interesting parallel here when you look at the position that Arsenal are in heading into this, because last year, before heading into this FA Cup, it's not FA Cup final, heading into League Cup final, of course, they had a FA Cup clash against Chelsea where they suffered a 2-0 defeat, and they were really kind of down and out off the back of that, and suddenly they came in sort of the underdogs to the Conti Cup final and won. Similarly, this year, we're coming in off the back of that 3-1 WSL defeat. They seem really down about that. They've got a couple of injuries of their own. We know that midfielder Leah Volti won't be there. That's a huge miss for them. Obviously, some of their players, like Viviana Miedema, will not be there. Leah Williamson is still sort of on the path to recovery, so you definitely would say that they're the weaker team. But whether that could give them momentum to actually come back against Chelsea.
Alessia Russo, it was she signed obviously for Manchester United, and it was well publicised. Should she be regretting that move now?
It's a good question, because you look at what Alessia Russo did for Manchester United. it was quite outstanding. She seemed to be starting every game. She was scoring most games. She was the face of the club. And where they finished last season, second place, Manchester United, that was amazing. So if you look at it on paper, Arsenal are not going to finish in second place this season, I don't think. So really, Alessia Russo was at a club that were performing better when she was at Manchester United last season than she is now. And part of it is that I don't think she's being played in the right position by Jonas Eidevall. She doesn't always start the games, which is completely baffling, really. And obviously she's taken on a sort of different role at Arsenal. She's less of a goal scorer and more of a hold-up player. But on paper, I think actually she looks more comfortable at Manchester United. Manchester United have suffered. She seems to have suffered. So I'm actually thinking that that move that we all thought was going to be such an amazing one for Arsenal, those people were paying them to win the league, it's not turned out so well, really.
Not getting the best out of Alessia Russo, maybe not winning trophies. How much pressure would that pile on Jonas Eidevall for maybe the club to think about going in a new direction? Do you see that possibly happening?
I think it's a really strong possibility. Arsenal have only won one trophy since the 2018 to 2019 season. That's the last time they won the WSL. They won the Conti Cup last season, but that's it. And for a club that used to dominate the whole of English football, for a club that have won the Champions League in its previous edition, that's not good enough. And I don't think Arsenal fans will think that's good enough. I don't think even the women's side themselves will think that's good enough with the players that they have. I think we could well, even if Arsenal win the Conti Cup this weekend, I think we still could see them go in a different direction.
Well, it's big for the football club, isn't it, as well, because they've just garnered such huge support for their women's team. We've seen record crowds at the Emirates Stadium. You know, those fans want to see trophies too, and I guess the club want to capitalise while they've got so many eyes on that part of the football club. And while it's so popular, you know, they probably want success and trophies to go with it, because that consolidates it, brings more money into the football club, and makes it all worth it. So, well, all worth it from their commercial perspective anyway. And so it would be massive. Anyway, it's going to be a massive weekend. Going to be a great game, I'm sure. We've got you covered on TalkSport 2, the Women's League Cup final, the Conti Cup, Arsenal against Chelsea Sunday, 3 o'clock kickoff. Faker Brothers, Joe Shannon, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk with you for it. Uma, thank you so much for coming into the studio to look ahead to it all and give us the latest on Willie Kirk sacking at Leicester City. Plenty still to come on kickoff. In the next hour, we'll be talking EFL. We will also discuss that massive game in the Premier League between Manchester City and Arsenal. That's coming next.
Kick-off on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. We play together. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Speak out where to walk.
Imagine having a holiday home all of your own, where family can bond and forever memories are grown. I know for most it's little more than a dream, but with Haven it's more real than at first it might seem. Our pre-loved holiday homes are an affordable treasure. From $19,995 you could be holidaying whenever. That's not all. Buy now and there's more, like no site fees to pay for 2024. Can't wait to get started? Plan all your trips? Then visit haven.com/ownership. Offers are separate, T's and C's apply.
Sell amazing products and services the whole world wants.
But Hawkshead Relish in Cumbria, demand is booming for our pickles and preserves in Canada and Australia.
And at Luminance from Cambridge, our AI software is saving lawyers time in over 60 countries and 80 languages.
So whether you're new to exporting or experienced, explore global growth for your business with free support from the UK government. Access information, training, events and expert advice to help you find new customers overseas. Visit great.gov.uk to get started.
At BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. That's why they got me, Chris Rock, to tell you about BetMGM's golden offers. Sign up to BetMGM, bet £10, and get £40 in free bets. We're making every game an occasion. Get ready for the golden era in sports betting. BetMGM. It's showtime.
New customers only. Wagering requirements and conditions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
If your business is the victim of a cyber attack, taken over by an unknown entity without your permission, information is stolen, data gone, records cannot be found, then Hiscox could help get you back on track.
The story of your business, underwritten by Hiscox Business Insurance. Subject to already holding a relevant Hiscox policy and subject to policy eligibility, terms and conditions.
McDonald's winning Sips is back, with millions of prizes up for grabs again, like Coke glasses, Mackey's merch, festival tickets, or even one of our weekly 10 grand cash prizes. Great winning slips now on medium or large soft drinks. Promotional drinks only, end 16th of April. App registration may be required. 18 plus, UK only, terms apply.
What a team! What a team! And to think these lads have never played together and probably never will. That's the beauty of LiveScore Bet squads. It's free to play and all that counts is putting the ball in the back of the net.
And putting some cash in your pocket.
That too, Steve. LiveScore Bet squads. Every time they score, you score. Up to £50 in cash. Deposited account required. Players revealed Monday to Friday, max 5 per round. Withdrawable cash amount per goal varies. T's and C's apply. Bet responsibly. 18 plus. BeGamblerWare.org.
It's all about guts,
Goals. Knocks it past her and gets it in.
and glory.
Everton is just extra name in the Hall of Fame.
The FA Women's Continental Tires League Cup on TalkSport with Continental Tires. Listen to TalkSport Drive all next week as Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent retread the action after every fixture. FA Women's Continental Tires League Cup reviews on TalkSport. Continental Tires, driving safety and performance.
On DAB, online, on your mobile, on the app, and on your smart speaker.
Football for March. Talk Sport. Talk Sport.
Manchester City against Arsenal, huge game, could be a title decider. We'll look ahead to it next. Let's get the latest headlines though on TalkSport with Jeremy Lieber.
Thanks, Hugh. Good evening. Yes, Newcastle midfielder Sandro Tonali is being charged with 50 alleged breaches of the FA's betting rules. This said to be involving matches this season. The 23-year-old midfielder is already serving a 10-month suspension and undergoing therapy for similar offences in Italy. The Times chief sports correspondent Martin Ziegler has told TalkSport he knows that he has a big problem.
He's been completely upfront about the fact that he's got a serious gambling addiction. He's going back for numerous rehab sessions in Italy. That was part of his punishment for actually reducing the length of the ban.
Newcastle say Tonali continues to fully comply with relevant investigations and he retains the club's full support. Next, and that breaking news within the past hour, Willie Kirk has been sacked by Leicester City women after an internal disciplinary process found the manager had breached the team's code of conduct. Kirk was suspended earlier this month, with the Foxes announcing they were conducting an internal investigation, which is understood to be in relation to an alleged relationship with a player. That process has now concluded and Kirk will leave the club after nearly 2 years at the helm. The date for Tottenham's Premier League match at home to Nottingham Forest has been moved at, well, short notice. It'll now take place a week on Sunday. That's a whole day earlier than previously planned and with a 6 p.m. kickoff. This due to rail and tube strikes in London on the Monday. The top flight has apologised unreservedly to supporters affected by the change. To the Women's Champions League, and we now know who Chelsea will play in the semi-finals. It's Barcelona. The Catalan Giants got past Bran in tonight's quarter-final match. And finally, UEFA are reportedly going to consider requests to increase the size of Euro 2024 squads from 23 to 26. This at a meeting a week on Monday. Gareth Southgate's among those to express concerns over the number of injuries he's facing.
Talk Sport News.
The crypto entrepreneur has been jailed for 25 years for what's being described as one of America's biggest frauds. And the chief executive of Thames Water has refused to rule out bill increases of up to 40%. This as the struggling company tries to secure its future.
Talk Sport weather with QuickFit. Sort your new tyres this spring at a time that suits you best from the comfort of your home or work 7 days a week with our mobile tyre fitting service. Conditions apply.
A cloudy night ahead in the north with some showery rain. Windy further south with clear spells but some scattered showers.
On 1089 and 1053 medium wave, on DAB, online and on your smart speaker. Kick off with Hugh Rosencroft on Talk Sport.
You're listening listening to Kick-Off on TalkSport. This hour we'll look ahead to a big weekend in the EFL football. Good Friday and Easter Monday as well. Gary Rowett starting life back at Birmingham with a high-pressure fixture away at Queen's Park Rangers. Will Enzo Maresca face the chop at Leicester if they're not promoted from the Championship? We'll discuss it all with Sam Parkin, the former Swindon and Ipswich forward from 8:30. But first, there's a simply massive game ahead of us in the race for the Premier League title.
Welcome to Manchester. What a goal! What a fantastic goal!
Two ways of playing us. If you come toe to toe with us, you're beaten. Simple as that.
I think City this season are really, really good. We're without De Bruyne, but I think with De Bruyne we're very, very, very good. I think it's difficult to keep us out over 90 minutes.
So I'm really intrigued to know how they're going to go about this one at the weekend.
So they aren't going to let go of their iron grip on this Premier League just that easily.
There's nothing.
And it comes to Hazard, who arrows it into the corner and past the goalkeeper, and it's 4-0.
Xhaka and Odegaard, important for Arsenal. Declan Rice is probably the one.
10 games to go. It's how much do you really want it? You know, we're close. We're in a good position.
They're scoring more goals than the other two. They're conceding fewer goals than the other two. They're better than the other two. Playing better than the other two.
All these challenges that they keep coming up, they keep coming over.
Fine, and we have one more month to play for the title. I'm not defining anything.
It's absolutely beautiful from Bukayo Saka.
To be around April, May, up there.
What a climax to this championship challenge we're in for on TalkSport.
Huge game at the Etihad Sunday afternoon. Manchester City against Arsenal. We'll have the Sunday session from 1:30. Adrian Durham will be there. Mickey Gray and Perry Groves alongside him on the show. All the goals as they go in from the Premier League, Women's Super League, Women's League Cup final as well. Liverpool playing Brighton earlier on in the day in the Premier League before the game at the Etihad. Going to be a bumper Easter Sunday for you. So make sure you're with us here on TalkSport. Hugh Withenscroft with you on Kickoff alongside Darren Ambrose, the former Newcastle and Crystal Palace winger, who, by the way, his face dropped during that package. And I was like, oh no, what's wrong, Darren? And then I realised it was the thought of Arsenal winning the Premier League title that Darren Ambrose can't deal with. But I think if Arsenal win the title, win the game at the Etihad, they have to be seen as favourites for the title. Agree?
No, I don't. I don't think this is. I don't think this defines the title. There's a lot.
No, but they'll be favourites if they win it. No,
I still don't think they will. I still think that, look, for a lot of people, for Arsenal supporters, yes, they'll probably say they are. For half the people, they will say they are. But a lot of other people say, well, no, Man City will still win every game. So they'd have to win every game from then until the end of the season. They, for me, look, they're doing fantastic. Well, I'll take my Spurs hat off. They're doing fantastically well. They're in the best form this calendar year. I think they've won every game this calendar year in the Premier League.
8 straight Premier League wins.
Yeah, the other two haven't. I think the other two have played 9 and they drew one.
They drew
each
last
other.
game, yeah.
And I think in terms of might be Liverpool have lost one as well, or Manchester City. But I have Manchester City as favourites. Now, I'm going to say something now, and we was talking off air, and we was like, shall I say it? Yeah, I'm just going to say it, because I hope Arsenal lose all of them, to be honest. But if Arsenal beat Manchester City, I'm going to get your opinion before I get abuse on the messages, but if Arsenal beat Manchester City, they have Luton and they have Brighton, 2 very winnable games for Arsenal. These are all ifs and buts. Liverpool play Manchester United at Old Trafford, so potentially that's a tough game. We know what that's like. And Manchester City, they play Aston Villa after this game. Again, going for top 4, we know that. They can pick up a result. If they go into the next 3 games and they are 4-5 points clear at the top of the Premier League, Arsenal this is, do they play not a weaker side, but not the first team against Bayern Munich in the quarter-finals of the Champions League?
No, absolutely not.
With a huge chance of winning the Premier League. 7 games left. In between those 2 Real Madrid, Bayern Munich games is Aston Villa.
No.
So
and I'll tell you why. Arsenal, we're all looking at the Premier League, and we're very, domestic focused in this country. I know we love the Champions League, but there's a lot of people who don't watch it once their club's knocked out, or they don't watch it once the English teams are out. Arsenal have an incredible chance of winning the Champions League this year. By the way, they've never won the European Cup. And I actually said, and I said it earlier on this season on the show, that they have a better chance of winning the Champions League this year than they did when they reached the final when Arsene Wenger was in charge, I think 2006. You know, I don't think they're going to give up on Europe easily. That will actually be a priority for them because they know how hard it's going to be to win the Champions League. To win the Premier League. I actually think it will be easier for them to win the Champions League.
That's now.
For example,
that's now.
Real Madrid and Manchester City, the two teams who were favourites ahead of them, well, one of them's getting knocked out in this round, right? Because they're going to play each other. So I think Arsenal will go, you know...
Do you think Arsenal beat Real Madrid or Man City?
In a one-off game, they can, for sure. I truly... For some reason, people think I don't like Arsenal. This Arsenal side, you'll remember, I backed to win the title last season, and I was disappointed. Clearly, there was a collapse there. And the big question around them is, have they learned from that experience? You know, other players in a different position. Well, actually, firstly, Rice, mentality and quality of player is massive for them. Makes them a lot harder to beat. William Saliba obviously was injured at the end of last season. If he can stay fit, that is absolutely massive for them as well. Clearly, they haven't found what we were all calling for in the summer, which was a real, genuine goal scorer in the team. But Kai Havertz has found his shooting boots. He's chipping in. All the forward players are doing their bit right now. They've scored more goals than anyone else in the Premier League. But they wouldn't play a weakened side against Bayern Munich. They're going to have nightmares.
It's disrespectful to the players. So then it's not a weak side. But what I'm saying, you play Nketiah instead of Jesus. You play Emil Smith-Rowe instead of Odegaard.
That is a weak
Zinchenko comes into the team.
That puts their involvement in the competition in jeopardy.
Okay, so the next round,
as bad as Bayern might be, they know all about Europe, and that tie could easily come down to a single goal. And I don't mean to disrespect the likes of Nketiah and Smith-Rowe, but Trossard, he might start the game, and I think he's more of a starter than the other two I just